Record to the cloud.
Okay, great.
Okay. Well, let's get started because it's right at 3:30 Eastern. And I'm just going to start with just a small little introduction. My name is Kendall Carrier. I'm the founder. I like to say I'm the founder and chief breast cancer survivor at the Deep Center. And we are an online movement and meditation platform for breast cancer patients and survivors. I live in New Orleans, Louisiana, but I am from South Carolina, so you might hear a little accent come across. And I am a recent grandmother. I have a grandson who's just shy of 5 months old, and he's coming into town next week for 10 days. And I'm going to be watching him for 4 of those days. So my palms are sweaty just thinking about it. And for this workshop today, it is going to be hands-on. So if you can, make sure you have a notebook. Facial oil would be amazing. If you don't have a facial oil, olive oil or even avocado oil will work. A hair tie if you have long hair like mine, and maybe even access to a mirror. And so let's get started. So I wanted to start with my story and what brought me to the Wellness Collective and speaking about beauty from the inside. So I started a decade-long career in corporate beauty, kind of fresh out of college. And I worked for one of the largest global leaders in beauty. I was the youngest vice president of the company. And what drew me into the company was their compelling sourcing story and their environmental mission. So after a passionate career of 10 years, I decided that I wanted to go deeper into wellness. And I attended the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and earned a nutrition coaching certificate and launched a nutrition coaching business that I later parlayed into owning fitness studios. So I opened 3 boutique fitness studios in 2013. And by 2015, I had my first kind of close encounter with cancer. I was diagnosed with complex atypical hyperplasia at the age of 38. This is hyperplasia of the uterus. I had to promptly get kind of an emergency hysterectomy. And this was, a big moment in my life, I guess you could say. I was also in the process of trying to have children, which of course I wasn't able to then have children of my own. So I have 2 wonderful stepchildren. And what scared me so much about it is that I had no genetic association to complex atypical hyperplasia. I was really scared, and I started to dive deep into environmental factors and lifestyle factors that could have contributed to it. I owned fitness studios, so I knew I exercise. I knew I didn't fit into the typical age range, didn't have a sedentary lifestyle. I'm a nutritionist. I eat well. I do all of the things I thought, and until I started looking into my personal care products. Yikes. These are photos that I took from 2015. I painstakingly started to look at every single personal care or beauty product that I had, and I was a bit of a beauty junkie. I loved Sephora, and through my time with corporate beauty and one of the biggest leaders in environmental beauty for Estee Lauder, I was really shocked to find out how toxic my products were. I thought that the FDA was regulating products similarly to the way they regulate food. Like if spinach has listeria, they pull it off the shelves. But when it comes to personal care products, there really is not any governing body that has the authority to remove a product from the shelf. And there's really little regulation on the front end doing anything about ingredients that go into products. So I studied all my products on a nonprofit group called the Environmental Working Group. They have an app, and you can also find them at ewg.org. And what I found is that minimally, most of these products could have the potential for allergic reaction, but maximally they cause endocrine disruption and they cause cancer. And it's not, they might, it's that there's definitely dangerous ingredients in our personal care products that do lead to cancer. So later, I discovered that there hasn't been a federal law passed in the US since 1938 regulating what is permissible in personal care products. To date, even today, there are only 30 banned ingredients in the US. And for reference, there are 1,600 banned ingredients in the European Union and 800 banned ingredients in Canada. So we are dangerously behind. So when I learned that, I had to tell everybody. I locked arms with Beautycounter to advocate for safer beauty. Beautycounter's mission, if you haven't heard of them, they're a personal care product company that is committed to getting safer hands into the products. Safer products into the hands of everyone. In this April, I'm actually going to DC to meet with lawmakers to advocate for more health protective laws for all of us. So 2 years after I joined Beautycounter, I got some more scary news that I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So here I am. My husband took this picture of me when I was recovering from my bilateral mastectomy because I think I made a reference to never having so much beige food on a plate. I was looking for the greens and it was all just beige hospital food, which I'm sure you can all relate to. So in March of 2020, in the midst of the pandemic, right on the front end of the pandemic, I was diagnosed with DCIS, estrogen receptor negative and progesterone negative cancer. And after genetic testing, again, I have no link to breast cancer. So my doctor told me it was likely an environmental exposure. So here we are kind of again. Oh my goodness. Luckily, I'd already cleaned up my personal care products. But there I was with breast cancer. My fitness studios were closed indefinitely. Surgeries were canceled due to COVID-19. So I had no idea when I actually would be able to get surgery. And needless to say, like all of you, I had feelings of anxiety, depression, and isolation, and they were at an all-time high. So I started researching what I could do with these emotions because I already exercise, longtime meditator, I pray, but there has to be something else. So that led me to launching on April 1st. It's called the Deep Center. So after searching for support and guidance without any luck, I realized that the world needed more tools and resources to help breast cancer patients and survivors to work through feelings of anxiety and depression, just like what we're all doing here. And so in exactly 16 days, I launch it nationwide. And one of the techniques that I teach at the Deep Center, I am going to teach you because it relates very closely to beauty from within. And that is called the emotional freedom technique or tapping method. It's one of my favorite techniques to help manage my emotions quickly. And beauty from the inside really starts with your emotions. It's not something you can buy. It's not a surgery you can have. It all starts from within. And tapping for me delivered really amazing results when I was in the height of, being diagnosed and having no end in sight, no surgery in sight, and really nothing I could do during the pandemic. And I loved tapping because it was like an active form of meditation. So if you're one who does not think meditation's for you, or we have, having a hard time sitting still, which we all do, tapping was more of an active meditation. And I found that it worked really well for me to bring me back to calm. But then when I started to research what it does for others, these are the powerful results. So after one session of tapping, which we are going to do together, tapping significantly declines anxiety by up to 40%, feelings of depression by 35%, post-traumatic stress disorder by 32%. It can also relieve pain up to 57% and reduce cravings by 74%. But my favorite statistic is the one you see here, is that it can actually increase happiness by 31% all at the same time. So if you're game, I'm going to lead you through a tapping for body acceptance, really the foundation of finding beauty from within. So I'm going to lead you through it. I'm going to show you what the points are. You can simply watch me first. And then as I lead you through a tapping, you'll either repeat after me out loud or silently to yourself. And just know if something I say is not true for you, don't feel compelled to have to say it or think it. You can always edit it for yourself. But these are the points of tapping, better known as the emotional freedom technique. The first is that we're going to tap on the karate chop point. And you can use a flat hand, you can use 2 fingers, 4 fingers. The main point of this is that the body is receiving that vibration in the area. So it doesn't have to be exacting, it doesn't have to be hard. So just find the technique you feel comfortable with. And we're going to tap on the karate chop point while talking about feelings that are true.
And
yeah.
Sorry, I can't see you to see where the karate chop.
Gosh. Let's see. Can you see me now?
I can see you now. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I moved the little Zoom screen. Okay. So just right on the side of the hand, flat palm, or you can do fingertips. And we're going to stay there for a little while, just really kind of setting up the tapping, talking about feelings that are true so that we can clear them up. The next point, and feel free to kind of get a feeling for this. This is not the tapping round, but just so you can feel it in your body, we're going to tap on what's called the eyebrow point. It's right where your eyebrow meets your nose. These are acupressure points in Chinese medicine. And sometimes when you tap them, they can feel like a little bit sensitive. You might have even, if you get acupuncture, you might have gotten some needles in some of these places. Then the side of the eye, it's actually right on the orbital bone, kind of close to the end of the eye, not out to the temple, but actually right next to the eye. And then underneath the eye would be right underneath your iris if you're looking forward. Underneath the nose, so between the upper lip and the base of the nose. Your chin point is the very center part of your chin, kind of where there's a little divot right there. Then we've got 3 more points. The next are the collarbones. You can either tap right at the edge of the collarbones, or you can just take a hand to your chest. I kind of like the hand to the chest approach because then I know I don't have to be so precise about where I'm tapping. The next is underneath the arm. So if you're able to lift your arm, it is 4 inches below your underarm, kind of right on where your bra strap would be. And then the very tip top of your head. Now, it doesn't matter what side of the body you use or what hand you use. Sometimes on my face, I'll go bilaterally. It's really preference. So you don't worry about what side of the face you're using. And then I'll check with you at the end and just see how you're feeling. So if you're ready, feel free to close your eyes. I'm going to keep mine open. You can turn your screen off. Whatever you need to do to be comfortable. And again, you can repeat after me, or you can repeat it silently to yourself, and we'll begin. So starting on the side of the hand at the karate chop point. And I want you just to turn into your body and feel what you feel when you think about loving and accepting your body exactly how it is right now. And then take a pause. And on a scale from 0 to 10, I want you to think of a number, 0 being no resistance to loving and accepting your body as it is right now, and 10 being tons of resistance to loving and accepting your body as it is right now. And once you have that number, I want you to write it down in your notebook. You can just write the number. And then we'll head back to the karate chop point and begin tapping. So again, we're going to start with statements that are potentially true for you so that we can clear them and move through them. So repeating after me to yourself or out loud, even though I have had a difficult relationship with my body, I love myself and I accept how I feel. Even though I've had a difficult relationship with my body, I honor how I feel, and I am open to being more loving and more accepting. Even though I have been self-critical, I choose to love and appreciate my body. And then we'll move to the eyebrow point. So tapping on the eyebrow point, right where the eyebrow ends and meets the nose. I haven't always been kind to my body. Side of the eye. I've judged myself. Underneath the eye. At times, I find that I have been mad at my body. Underneath the nose, and we'll tap about 7 to 8 times per section. Sometimes I wish I had a different body. Chin point. And I realize it's hard to take care of something that you don't always value. And notice if your breath kind of gets stuck, make sure you're being kind and breathing. Collarbone or chest. I see now that I haven't always loved and valued my body. Underneath the arm, right on the bra strap. I acknowledge that this has been a difficult relationship. Top of the head. And I acknowledge that at times I've been critical. Now you're going to pause repeating to yourself or out loud, and you're just going to consider some of these statements. So we'll move to the eyebrow point. And I want you to notice how you feel when you think about how you treat your body. Side of the eye. And just notice, let your body relax. Underneath the eye. Think of all the pressure you've put on your body. Underneath the nose. I want you to notice how criticizing your body doesn't seem to work. Chin point. It's hard to thrive in a critical environment. Chest. But somehow your body has thrived anyway. Underneath the arm. I want you to notice any resistance to accepting your body. Top of the head. And notice, what would it feel like to value your body? And we'll go back to the eyebrow point. This time, again, repeating to yourself or out loud. I now see that I can't criticize myself to get what I want. Side of the eye. All change begins with self-love. Underneath the eye. I've been so busy noticing my flaws that I haven't seen the beauty within. Underneath the nose, I am enough. Chin point. Right here and right now. Collarbones. I have a body that supports me. Underneath the arm. And I am starting to communicate with my body in a new way. Top of the head. Body, I am sorry I have been so harsh. Eyebrow point. I now nourish you with loving thoughts. Side of the eye. I take good care of you because I love you. Underneath the eye. And it feels great to take care of something that I love. Underneath the nose, I am enough. Chin point, right here and right now. Chest point, I have a body that supports me. Underneath the arm. And I'm starting to communicate with my body in a new way. Top of the head. I am enough. You can pause, take a deep breath. And then thinking about your body and any resistance to loving and accepting your body on a scale from 0 to 10. I want you to write down how you're feeling now in regards to loving and accepting your body. And know that any shift downward is a shift in the right direction. And for some people, it brings up other avenues of other things to work on. So you might have just gotten the same score. But I want you to notice how you feel. Commonly right now would be feelings of kind of a body buzz, groundedness, like your mind feels a little bit more calm, your body feels more calm. You might feel quiet now. Your shoulders might feel a little softer. I always think that after I tap, I have a little bit more space between my earlobes and the top of my shoulders. And it'd be common to feel peaceful and calm. So to me, that's really the foundation of beauty from within is, again, starting your day or ending your day or finding some time to carve out some time for yourself to just remind yourself that, beauty is from within. You are enough. And thank you for joining me with that little exercise, and we'll continue on. And if there are any questions in the chat, when I conclude, I'll happily answer those. You might have some questions popping up. So we're going to take a little bit of a right turn into another one of my favorite topics, which is nutrition, specifically beauty nutrition. And these are 8 of the most important beauty foods, if you will, that you want to incorporate in your diet if you're able to. I know some people are sensitive, especially to dairy. So Greek yogurt might not be the thing for you. But otherwise, let's talk a little bit about these. So bell peppers, they're significant because they increase blood circulation in the body. They are actually known to help prevent wrinkles and can help with hair growth and the prevention of acne. I think every time I read a nutrition book, they always mention berries. We know that they are low in sugar and they are absolutely loaded with antioxidants that make them a really amazing beauty food for the entire body. Leafy greens, for sure, things like bok choy, kale, spinach, all of those have a ton of vitamin C. And vitamin C is the building block of our collagen. And so as we get older, we don't make as much collagen as we once did in our youth, but supplementing with vitamin C can really help boost your collagen so that you can continue to make collagen. It's also excellent for healing. It can also help prevent hair breakage, interestingly enough, and protect your skin from the damaging effects of UV light. Walnuts and nuts in general, they're a great source of protein, and they also have really healthy fats and vitamin E that's really important for skin. I also love walnuts because they're really good brain food because of the healthy fats. Sweet potatoes, they have a form of beta carotene in it that encourages blood flow. And it can actually act as a natural sunblock, but I would not use that in place of sunblock. But it's, as someone as fair and Irish as me, I'll take all the sunblock that I can get. Avocado, they are an amazing source of vitamin E. Again, really similarly to the healthy fats in walnuts. They're great healthy fats for your skin. They help prevent oxidative damage to the skin. Broccoli reduces the number of skin cells killed by UV rays, which is pretty interesting. And broccoli also has a lot of minerals in it, like copper, like zinc, that are great for a dewy, glowy complexion. And then lastly, if you're able to enjoy dairy, Greek yogurt has a ton of protein, which is the foundation for healthy skin and hair. I would just take a peek and make sure that you're getting full fat Greek yogurt and that you are getting something that doesn't have a lot of sugar. So it's not added with like jams and jellies. And from there, I want to segue into kind of another hands-on portion. And these are considering your morning beauty rituals. We're going to go over my favorite morning and evening rituals to help really encourage beauty from within. And what I love about all of these, not only do they reduce anxiety and stress, but they really do have a wonderful effect on your skin and on your outlook, and they're all free. So these are my favorites, and I do these every morning. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I light a candle and I post it on Instagram every single morning before I meditate. So lighting a candle just to kind of signify a new day. Beginning your day with meditation can be just a lovely way to start the day. There's even science that meditation can slow down aging because it reduces stress on the body. Tapping like we just did, prayer, sending your gratitudes up, starting your day with water and lemon can be amazing to jumpstart your digestive system. And of course, we get a little bonus vitamin C first thing in the morning, which is great for our immune system and our skin. The next three, I think, are really vitally important, especially for those of us who have gone through breast cancer. And the first is, I said stretch chest. I would guess I would call it a chest stretch, but I posted this on my Instagram today, so you would know exactly what I was talking about, since I won't be able to demo it today. But every morning I will lay on a bolster or a foam roller, and I lay long ways so that I'm reclined down on it and that it is underneath the entire length of my spine. So it's about 4 feet long. And I open up my wingspan till my elbows are on the ground. And that helps to lengthen the pec major, the pec minor, any tightness through the chest. With scar tissue, it's going to help soften some of those scars so that we continue to have the mobility that we want through our chest and our shoulders. Then I turn the bolster long ways. So I lay on it vertically and then I lay on it horizontally. So it's underneath my shoulder blades, and I lay off the back of it. And that's really going to help to do the same thing. It's just going to open your chest, have more emphasis of opening up your chest. And it's a really passive way to counteract some of the shoulder rolling forward due. Again, tech neck could do it. I live near a college here in New Orleans, and I think every 18-year-old is like this. They're gonna need to do this too. It's not just from having breast cancer, but I think it's especially important if we've lost some of our mobility through our chest, through our shoulders. And then the next two we're gonna do together. And it's a neck stretch and lymph drainage. Okay, so just to go over a little bit about the lymphatic system. Gosh, we probably know about lymph nodes more than we ever wanted to. But the lymphatic system, it's a critical part of our immune system. Through a network of hundreds of nodes, it drains fluid called lymph to be transported back into your bloodstream. So it removes bodily waste and it carries white blood cells that help to prevent infection. So a lot of our lymph nodes we know are underneath our arms, but we also have a ton of lymph nodes behind our ears. This area is known as the water wheel. And then of course we have lymph nodes in our groin. So we have them everywhere, but these are the biggest collection. So to start the day with some neck stretches and some lymphatic drainage will really help boost fresh oxygen and blood supply to the face. So you will get a nice glow. The face will appear more chiseled and will help to send some of that cellular waste on its way. You can think of the lymph nodes or the lymph system in the body kind of like the drainage system. And sometimes our drains get clogged. And so the lymph needs some assistance. The interesting thing about lymph is that it won't move on its own. It'll stagnate in the body. So the way we move lymph are through respiration. So deep breathing and exercising will move. Stretching will physically move the lymph as well. And then you can actually also have lymphatic drainage to help move the lymph. So we're going to do a little bit of all of it. So if you're game, just easy, easy position, feet on the ground so you feel a little bit grounded. And we're going to start with just a couple stretches right overhead. So if you're able to lift your arms up, you can lift them up here. If not, you can always just give yourself a little bit of a hug there. And in this good morning stretch, what we're actually doing is loosening the lats on the back body. So you can be sure that if your scalp is tight, and your lats are tight and your shoulders are tight, it's going to show up on your face. So the first thing I do is big stretch, stretching the fascia, kind of getting everything moving. And you can follow along with me if you're game. And then the next thing is a lateral stretch. So just reaching up and over. Again, you can do this across the body, or you can even do a lean. And that's going to help lengthen the internal and external obliques. Same thing, if those are tight, it also releases the QL, which is the deep posterior core, and off to the other side. Yeah, if those are tight, the face will be tight, the neck will be tight, and everything will kind of be pulled down. You can do these while you're brewing your coffee or making your tea, right? It doesn't have to be so formal. And then after those two stretches, I like to do just a simple neck stretch. So we're just going to move the head side to side. One chin, your chin will go over one shoulder, and then it'll go to the other side. And again, you can do these as many times as you like. I have a tendency to sort of linger here. When I get to the end point of the stretch, I like to pause and see if there's any more mobility that I can get once I get warm. And then, there's no rigid amount of times you have to do it. So just do it until. And then pause on one side, and you're going to actually take your hand, and hopefully you can see this, kind of where your carotid artery is down your neck, this big chain of muscles that get really tight. You can actually take your hand and just kind of help lengthen that muscle. This is also helping to drain the lymph behind the earlobe. Sometimes this gives me chills. If you feel like you're getting a little chill, that's not uncommon. You might even notice your skin feels a little warm. And then we'll go to the other side, and same thing. I'm just holding it with my index finger and my thumb and dragging my finger and thumb down the side. Already my neck is starting to feel more mobile. I hope yours is too. And then we'll pause here. And now we're going to do something called a rainbow roll. So we're just going to drop our chin towards our chest. And then left ear over to left shoulder. Take these slow, make sure you're breathing. And then we'll lift the chin to the sky. Carefully drop your head back to a level that feels comfortable. Notice if your shoulders come up to try to help. Mine definitely do. See if you can relax those down. And then we'll take our ear over to the other side. And then let's just take it in the opposite direction. So we'll start through the chin and take your ear over. And these little stretches, not only do they feel good and help keep or get newfound mobility through the neck, but just these very movements help to drain the lymph. So if you are someone who's prone to puffiness through the face, this can be really helpful. And then we're going to do two more stretches. So taking your hands right to the base of your collarbone, kind of where we were tapping. I want you to hold that down. You're going to secure that area. And then you're going to draw your chin towards your hand, straight, stretching the back of the neck, and then back up. So again, kind of holding it, drawing it down slightly. This just helps get the back of the neck just a little bit longer so that the front muscles aren't moving with the stretch. And then this one's fun. If you've got people in the room, you might look a little crazy, but it really does work. So I'm going to show you first. We're going to just cover our teeth with our lips and then smile. It's going to look like this so that your cheeks start to kind of inflate. You're going to hold down again and then chin to the sky. We're going to do that a couple times. So you should feel that the front of the neck is getting a huge stretch right down the front. And so I get asked sometimes, stretching muscles, does that cause like laxity, or why would we want the muscles to be stretched? And it's because some of these muscles, without getting stretched, there is not fresh blood or circulation going through the muscles, and that helps to plump up the muscles. It gives it, the muscles life. And so without that, they kind of sit flat and dormant. So this actually helps to puff them up and makes them healthier as well. And so those are some stretches you can do first thing in the morning. I always say, like, do a couple. I don't always do I'm going to show you some massage techniques after this too, but I don't always do all of these. I think stretching is really intuitive, just feeling into your body, like what needs to be moved? Where do I need to send a little kindness? Where do I need to spend a little time? And so I suggest picking one or two, not necessarily from my list, but from your list. Maybe you like to journal, or maybe you like to read a devotional, spend time with your dogs, whatever those are, creating your own beauty rituals. So the two on the right are what I do no matter what. So if my whole morning falls apart, I know I'm going to light a candle and meditate, and I know I'm going to do my lymph drainage. Sometimes I didn't get to my water and lemon this morning. So not letting perfection be the enemy of good. So consider those. You might even jot them down. And then let's move to some evening beauty rituals. So again, big into the candle lighting around here. I just think lighting a candle sort of just, I don't know, it brings us into the present moment, and anything that smells beautiful makes me feel beautiful. Evening meditation, yoga nidra. If you haven't heard of yoga nidra, it's translated into yogic sleep. It's one of the things I offer at the Deep Center. It's kind of where a reclined meditation yoga shavasana meets a body scan. It's pretty powerful. It can be really wonderful to settle your energy at the end of the day. Prayer again, gratitude. A bath can be really wonderful. I try to take one every night with some bath salts with magnesium so that I sleep well. A double cleanse is simply using something like an oil-based cleanser or a balm to take off the day, especially if you wear makeup or you live in a city that has a lot of pollution. Using something like an oil first to help break down your makeup and pollution, and then washing it away with something that's more foamy can be a wonderful ritual to do at night, especially for bedtime. And then there we are with my neck stretches again. And this time we're going to incorporate facial massage. So sometimes I do facial massage in the morning, but I definitely do it every night before I go to bed. And so if you've got some facial oil handy, and I want you to know you can do this without oil. I've got makeup on my face. I'm going for it with the oil. But this morning I just used a light touch and I didn't use oil. So if you're at work or you don't want to use oil, no pressure. And if you are, you're just going to take 1 or 2 drops. I'm using an oil from Beauty Counter. It's a blend of black currant oil, which is good for acne and skin barrier. It's got vitamin C in it, avocado oil. It smells like oranges. It smells really good. And you're just going to press it into your neck, chest, face. And this is just going to offer a little bit of glide for some of our massage techniques that we're going to do to encourage more beauty from within. Okay. And so from here, we're just going to start at the nape of our neck, and we're going to just draw our hands forward to our collarbones. Again, we've got a big cluster of lymph nodes right at the collarbones. This is a big drain, if you will. So I like to make sure that when I'm massaging, I'm kind of lightly pushing everything towards my drains, either the back of my neck, like side of my neck behind my ear, or right to my collarbones. And this sweeping forward and back, this is simply just encouraging those drains to be open. So I might do this at night where I haven't done any stretching since the morning. So we are warm, our drains are open, but this can be a nice way to start it if you were doing this sort of cold, if you will. Then we're going to scissor our collarbone. So just taking an index finger, you might take both fingers on one side and 2 fingers on the other, just one and one. And again, we're just going to massage into the collarbones. This is again, just making sure that those big lymphatic drains are open and ready to move cellular debris, boost our immune system. And then we'll go to the other side. Again, there's no set number. I'm not counting how much I'm doing this. I'm doing this until I feel complete. I really think that facial massage or any sort of self-touch, it's intuitive. You know what feels good, do what feels good. And then we're going to make 2 big capital L's with our hands. And I want you to put the thumbs underneath your chin. The index finger is going to be close to your nose, and you're going to glide your hands apart towards your ears and then down to your collarbone. So a lot of pressure underneath the thumb, kind of lighter pressure on the face, and then the lightest pressure as you go down. So interestingly enough, when we're doing facial massage, it's important to consider the layers of the face. So if we're using a lot of pressure, that's really intended to go all the way to the muscle, potentially even to the bone, which requires a good amount of pressure to release the muscle. But the lymphatic system is just underneath the skin. So it's like butterfly pressure when you're concentrating just on lymph. So I like to think like medium pressure here, and then light, 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 light on the way down. Then we're going to take what I call crab claws, just to your second and third finger, and we're going to take those underneath the chin, knuckle up, and we're going to drag it along the bottom of our chin towards our ear or water wheel, and then light, light down. So this is helping to refine and chisel the chin. And what's really fun, and what that mirror is for, in a moment, I'll give you an opportunity to take a peek in the mirror and just notice if you notice a difference from how you looked before. We've got a couple more exercises you might see that any sort of puffiness or stagnation is gone. Okay, one more pass feels right to me. Of course, you can always keep going. And then we're going to work one side at a time. The goal is going to be to get right underneath this collarbone, cheekbone. So you've got 2 choices. You can either use your knuckle to drag it along underneath the collarbone, or my favorite, it's a little hard to see, but I'm going to anchor my index finger and middle finger to my forehead, and then take my thumb, drag it down my nose underneath my cheekbone, and then circle it around. So down the nose, underneath the cheekbone, and around. There is a Chinese medicine acupuncture point right here underneath your cheekbone that's known in Chinese medicine as the shining point. So it said when it gets stimulated that it gives your complexion a glowing complexion. So I always try to make sure I hit that shining point. And then we'll make that our last one. And then you're just going to take both hands and you're going to just move the fingers up the cheek. Now, if it's hard to kind of separate your hands like little butterfly wings, you can always like make little mitts. Don't feel like you have to separate the fingers. And what you should feel underneath your hands is that there's a softening that's happening to the cheek and a warming. So we know we've got some fresh blood in there. And then we'll pause and take a peek. If your phone can be a mirror, or if you have a mirror close by, take a peek. What I usually see is that this area right above my chin this part is more chiseled than this side. And it's because any of that puffiness and that lymph that was kind of sitting there or stagnation is been drained down. It's pretty cool. So we'll go to the other side. So again, dealer's choice. You can either take your knuckle underneath your cheekbone, or my preference is to take my fingers to my forehead, glide my thumb under, make sure I'm hitting the middle part underneath my cheekbone and around. So I'm hitting that shining point. And this can be like especially tender just because we hold a lot of tension in our jaw. I'm finding that I'm doing some like not teeth grinding, but clenching of my jaw when I'm sleeping. So I'm waking up with really a tight jaw. So that feels good. And then same thing, we're gonna take our fingertips, kind of butterfly onto the cheek, nice and light. Again, just noticing the cheek is getting kind of soft. This is excellent to do after you apply a serum. It should help kind of get the serum into the skin as deep as it can. And then we're going to take our fists and then you're going to take them right underneath your collarbone or cheekbones, right to that shining point, and you're just going to move your fist side to side. So again, this is helping to release tension through the jaw. It's encouraging lift through the cheeks. And this one to me always feels really good. It always feels really necessary. Anytime I do this, I'm like, I don't think I'm doing this enough because it feels so good. Okay, we've got a couple more. So next, we're going to go right underneath the eyes. A light touch, 1 finger, 2 fingers, but again, as light as you can get it. Underneath the eyes, we know is the most delicate and thin skin on the, I think on the body, definitely on the face. So no pulling, but just encouraging blood flow. Then to the eyebrows, we're going to go back to this knuckle point, and here we can actually offer a good amount of pressure. So starting at the inside of the eyebrow, just like tapping, you're going to drag your knuckle of your index finger right underneath your eyebrow. This might be sensitive. It is on me. It still feels good, but it feels like I need to go slow and breathe. So if you're holding your breath, a little reminder to breathe a little deeper. Okay. And then to the forehead, we're going to take our 2 index fingers and you're simply going, I kind of like to think that I'm erasing wrinkles on my forehead. We're just moving those side to side, creating some friction, encouraging blood flow. And again, always working from the bottom up so that your drains are open. And now anything we're moving in our body up, our forehead or head, it's got a place to go. It's got a place to be flushed out. And then once you feel complete there, you're just going to simply kind of drag your fingers down, forehead to chin, back to the collarbones, sort of like, I like to think of sort of resetting everything. This is like the kind of the closing. And then the last thing we're going to do is take some attention to the ears. So scissoring the ears, even massaging the ears, doing little circles behind the ears, whatever your preference is, but definitely working your ears. For the sake of it being in the middle of the afternoon and you might not want to mess up your hair, I also end every facial massage by massaging my scalp. Again, it's not something we think about, but if your scalp is tight and the muscles underneath are tight and maybe swollen from lymph that hasn't moved, then it's going to show up on your face. Same with your ears. There's a lot of little acupressure points in your ears, so this can feel harmonizing. If you've had acupuncture, there's a lot of ear points that are for harmony, for beauty, and for anxiety. So rub your ears. They're easy to neglect. And then just take a moment. We're complete with this massage. Notice how you feel. If you've got that mirror handy, maybe take a peek and consider what you might incorporate into your evening rituals. Again, It does not have to be this long list. I have a tendency to overdo it, and I don't have small children in the house. So I kind of have the time and to really make self-care a major priority. But the ones I always do are, again, on the right. I always take a bath and I do my stretches. So maybe consider for yourself what you can incorporate that would make you feel beautiful. And we are just about at time. So thank you so much. I hope you have found some new rituals that make you feel beautiful. There's so many things that we can do to make ourselves feel beautiful within, and you definitely deserve it. So carve out some time for yourself, and I hope you'll keep in touch. So this is where you can find me on all my social channels, my email and my website. And I'm going to just stop sharing so that if there are any questions and anyone wants to chat or ask anything, you can ask away.
Thank you for that, Kendall. It was great.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Good. It's my little girl, my daughter, and I have, so she's really into the whole like face creams and all this, like, because we do this together. And so I'm going to try this with her because I think she would love, really enjoy it.
And it's so good for your nervous system. I mean, hopefully it feels better than they did an hour ago.
I'm a huge believer, supporter of lymphatic drain massages. I do it regularly, and I can't even tell you how much it changed my life when I started doing it.
Yeah.
The inflammation just in my body, I just felt better. My numbers were better, everything was better. So yeah. And I wanted to make mention of something that we covered in our Tuesday coaching session with Jane McClellan, who wrote the book, How to Starve Cancer Without Starving Yourself. I think we're all familiar. But one of the things she talked about was walnuts, and I'm just looking up at my notes, where it says that new research shows walnuts could help women who are dealing with breast cancer. So she recommends eating lots of walnuts or doing supplements of some kind. And I can share that with the group. I have to go and look up what it was.
Yeah.
And it just says, the research shows eating 2 ounces of walnuts a day for about 2 weeks slowed breast cancer growth or reduced the risk of developing the disease. So
Wow.
Yeah. So anything you can do, that seems like a pretty easy one to me.
Yeah. And they're delicious and they're good for your skin. Caitlin and Aaron, y'all are glowing. Your skin looks so good.
I feel good.
Oh,
That was
good.
nice. Yeah,
Oh.
I'd never done any kind of facial massage like that before. And just to have an understanding of how to do it
Yeah.
and where to put the focus was so helpful.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yay.
Yeah.
I used to not know what I was doing either. Like I got, when gua shas sort of, I know they've been around 100 years, but when they sort of got popular, I'm like, well, I don't think and so I had to do a deep, deep dive, and I've gone down the rabbit hole. It's just made such a difference. And it's just, I don't know. I don't really think about it as a beauty focus so much as just like the ultimate self-care, spending some time with myself. So I'm so glad you could make it today.
Yeah, that was great.
That's so true, right? Like I think I used to be conditioned to just quickly slap things on and, drink my coffee and out the door, run to the metro. And just having, I think maybe that's one of the beauties of the pandemic is just, it taught me just having that extra self-care time where I'm not in transit going somewhere.
Yeah.
I used that and I pivoted onto just spending more time with myself. And I feel really thrown off with the time change.
Yeah, me too.
Because I usually get up at around 5. So now I'm getting up at 4. So throw me off a little bit. I'm off my game this week, but just having that time waking up before everybody in the house gets going, I can't stress how important that has been in my life.
Definitely. Yeah. And I took this class with this doctor of sleep. I can't remember his name now, but he said that not to underestimate this time change. Everyone thinks, well, it's just an hour. Like, what's wrong with me? I need to catch up. But statistically, more people have like heart attacks and more people have car accidents on the day after daylight savings.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show how critical our sleep is, even by 1 hour. So I learned that before this daylight saving. So I've been really gentle with myself when I'm like, snap out of it, go to sleep, like, no, this is, I need to be easy on myself. This is a real thing.
For sure. Well, this has been so helpful, Kendall. And I'll be sure to share this recording in our Facebook group. And then if anybody has questions, I'll just tag you, and then you know how to get in contact with you there. So
that sounds awesome.
It's great to see everyone. I hope everyone's having a lovely Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Bye, guys.